Coach, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead, Dan. I don't even see. Coach, you're blessed with one game before entering your first back-to-back. As a team, how do you prepare for those type of things, knowing early in the season you'll be playing, 2 games in 2 nights?
I think it's a great thing. It gets you prepared for what the season's, how it's coming up. You can't avoid the back-to-backs, but you take care of the first night. That's all you do. You do what you need to do to take care of the first game at home.
Jalen played 17 minutes, mostly 2 to 3 minutes.
16:30.
Jalen played 16 minutes and 30 seconds the other night, mostly 2 to 3 minute stints.
Yeah.
Like, what did you notice about what he was able to do in those minutes? Obviously, we saw the energy and stuff, but how do you think he handled that as best he could?
I really think his energy was great. He had a demeanor about him that was controlling the floor, making plays, being able to be out there with his guys. I thought was really good. Those short bursts, will help him in a lot of ways. Just being able to settle himself down, as well as when he goes to the bench, you can analyze the game even more. But again, it'll be that for quite some time. But just being able to have him out there is a great thing.
Just kind of on that, how long do you anticipate him kind of being in these kind of shorter spurts, and then how do you begin to ramp him up? Obviously, it's a long season. He's still kind of working his way back, kind of getting back into playing shape. So playing shape without a training camp. But how do you begin to ramp him up or test him when you need to test him?
Well, you just said it. It's a long season, and we're always going to be conscious of that, and how we come about it and how he responds to each game is going to be very important. So we'll just keep monitoring that as the season goes along.
Now that you've had some time to review Wednesday's game, what are some of the things that stick out that you'd like to see improve or kind of get better at tonight?
It's going to be a constant, and it's another challenge for us tonight is, defending without fouling, using our aggression the right way. I love the way we push the basketball, the pace. I know it slowed down in the later part of the game, but us just continue to push the basketball, getting up and down the court, trusting the pass, sharing the ball. I thought we did a really good job there. Our guys are just continuing to trust and continue to work. But, again, I think the defense, as the game went on, we continue to settle down a little bit more.
Atlanta's got Porzingis after the offseason. What does that challenge bring to this Atlanta team that's, pretty, just wide across the board, pretty stout offensively?
Well, coaching him and then having him played him in Boston in those series, just spacing the floor, another threat, offensively. Being able to knock down shots, but also a guy that knows how to draw fouls. And so being able to defend him, without fouling, along with Trey, and those guys are, it's a tough matchup, that combination.
Coach, 1 game sample size, but what did you see from Desmond Bane fitting in with Franz and Paolo? How did you kind of see how that went, and some positives and some things that might need to be cleaned up in those three?
You look at a lot of the games throughout the league, and a lot of teams are trying to find that flow and that chemistry, similar with us, just trying to find the rhythm of the guys playing together in different stints and different combinations, and that's why throughout training camp we do that often. But I think that chemistry with that group is flowing pretty good. They communicate well with one another. They play off of each other. They've talked about the things that they like and see on the floor, and I think it's only going to continue to get better.
Caleb Houston signed a 2A with Atlanta recently. Just what do you remember about his time here? And for a guy to leave the team and still end up in the league, what does that mean to you?
Because he's good enough to be in this league. I've said it time and time again, he's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen and been around. You tell him to stay out of the gym, he comes back to the gym. He's probably driving those guys crazy over there because it's all hours of the night that he wants to come back. One of the hardest workers and a great human being, great kid. Loved the time that he was here with us and what he represented for us and who he is as a young man.
Coach, you scored 25 points off turnovers and 18 on second chance points last night. How do you make those hustle plays a core part of this team identity where you're able to not only talk about it in training camp, like you said, but execute it every single regular season game?
Just continue to show the film on it, emphasize that's the positive of what we do. It's our identity and who we are, and we've known that our defense creates our offense in so many ways, and being able to do it at a smart variation. So I think that's what's going to be good for us.
Jamahl, you touched on a little over here. You touched on it a little bit about having Kristaps with Luka. How is it going to be different for Kristaps with Trey, at least from a perspective of trying to defend them, and also maybe obviously what you know about Kristaps?
I think he's a difficult guard. He's a difficult coverage. his ability to space the floor, but then being able to put the ball on the ground to get to the basket, drawing fouls. You've got to have the right matchups with, your center as well as your guard play, because there's going to be times you're going to need to switch, and he can find a way to punish that switch. And if you don't switch, Trey's so good at manipulating the defense, his ability to get downhill. So he creates a major problem, for them, for most opponents, if you don't have the proper matchup for him.
Jamahl, the gambling allegations that came up yesterday, have you addressed the team about that? Has there been anything said to the players or from the organization to address that?
Yeah, before the year even starts, we address the team right away, talking about all the things that go on. The league sends memos, they send notes, that we watch videos about what their things are that are, rules and regulations of the gambling and the betting. And we've done that with our team. And, yesterday was another reminder of what we have to do. And we had another conversation with the group. And I think that the more it is going on, the more we have to continue to talk to the group about the things that are happening. And the league does a great job of making sure that we communicate that with our guys and our organization.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.